Hello, everyone. It is Elson932 on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. We are here for Project Runway episode 4. We are definitely in the building for episode 4. And I got to say, this episode was giving all I needed it to give. And then some. I was thrown as to how this episode went. So just come on in, just say hello. Make sure you have liked the live, okay? Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And the comments is member only for a minute. So you just take a minute after you hit subscribe, and then you could certainly chat with us because we are covering definitely. They make us go back, y'all. We're covering Project Runway. They make us go back to episode 3 to then come forward to episode 4 because they don't tell us who was voted out until this episode. So we're going to review. Remember who was on the bottom last week? Who was on the bottom last week? On the bottom last week were these 3 looks. Okay, remember it was just, I consider just drab things that you make into a piece for the celebrity client. But again, this wasn't it. Hey, Chicago girl, glad to have you here. Yep, Sam became a member last time, so it is still here to let us know Samantha is a member. So these were the 3 bottom looks from last week. That's how we started the show this week. That's Ethan, Joan, and Angelo. Joan was told she was safe, okay? Angelo, he was told the construction was bad, and even worse was his confidence in the outfit. Now, I think it's those, extra hips on the model. That's pointy hips that I think, ugh. Ethan, they said, failed as a leader. And when they said Ethan failed as a leader, I was about to pass out. Hey, to go to Africa, glad to have you here. I was about to pass out when they said Ethan's, was failed as a leader. Because remember what Law Roach said. He said, it looked like she is crowning, she is dilated and the baby is crowning. And I cannot unsee it. But we're told, even though Ethan failed as a leader, Angelo was out. Angelo was sent home. I was like, oh, no, not Angelo. But I was like, it'd rather Angelo than Ethan or Joan. I have to say, I'm kind of partial to Ethan and Joan, but that's just me. But did anybody notice, too, that Angelo didn't really hug Ethan when he left? When he left that stage, Angelo was not about the hugsy on the stage at that time. He eventually did hug him in the workroom, or at least it looked he did before he packed up and left. Now, what they told us next. What they told us next is, oh, thank the Lord. VJ was happy. It is no more houses, no more this, no more that. Ain't no, working as a team. I remember VJ didn't want to work as a team. And, Yu-Chan ain't want to give up any of his lace for the group, for the good of the group. He didn't want to do this no more. You saw that, Chicago girl? Should have been Ethan who was sent home. Exactly. But again, we can't let Ethan go home because, again, if we look at the totality of it, truly, Angelo hasn't shown anything that I was really particularly fancy about. Ethan, on the other hand, has won a challenge, and he almost won the last one with the fitness thing. So I kind of understand why, but in the past, the team leader would be gone. In the past, the team leader would be out of here. So this week, okay, we go to an elementary school. Law Roach comes into the workroom and sends them, he takes them to an elementary school where members of the cast of Abbott Elementary were there after the science fair. Heidi said the decision was not unanimous. She let Ethan know you could be going home. Hey, April B, glad to have you here. So we were told that this is the Unconventional Materials Challenge. It is a 1-day challenge. Law Roach took them on a field trip and say, here are your materials from the science fair. Now, we here at Project Runway, we love the Unconventional Challenge. Now, y'all know in commemoration of the show, I try to wear something that's kind of the show. And this is an unconventional material, meaning the flowers were made out of some kind of thread. I bought this years ago, but I do remember I bought it because it was a very unconventional thread that was dyed to make it look like flowers. So, in commemoration of the show and this episode, is why I'm wearing this. It is a dress with pockets. Okay. We love a good pocket dress. I don't wear dresses a lot, but we love a good pocket dress. Okay. And the flowers on it, which is just up to my waist, is unconventional materials made the flowers. So that's how I am contributing to the show. Thank you, Chicago girl. So VJ thinks, one of the twins need to go home because they are always working together, and that is unfair. It is unfair that they get to work together in the real world, and then they're here, and as brothers, they get to work with each other. VJ is like, one of them got to go. So we're told the workroom, after they do all of this, we're told the workroom is going to be the runway, the bright lights of the workroom. So again, it's unconventional challenge. Everything in there, from the banner to straws to sticks to the trifold, science thing, anything from the science fair, the basketballs, the soccer balls, everything in the gym was open for them to take. And at first there was that's my material. People actually worked it out and was able to get back there. And some people were a little bit, more unconventional than others. So we're told we having one judge. Christian comes in and say, yeah, the workroom is going to be your runway with the bright lights. Now, there ain't no lights to hide all the hot glue that you put on your outfit. So the one judge coming through was Law Roach. He said, I started with you, and I'm going to be here with you to judge this one. Hey, LNV, glad to have you here. So I'm going to show you the designers as they came on the runway in that order. Then I'm going to show you who were the top looks. Then I'm going to show you who were the bottom looks. And I'm going to tell you what the curveball was at the end. So as Heidi would say, let's start the show. So this is how, from Yuchen to Bologna, this is how they entered the workroom as the runway, okay? And I'm going to tell you what materials they used for each of their outfits. So let's start, as they did, with Yuchen, okay? Yuchen had soccer balls were his unconventional item. Soccer balls. Can you guess? It was soccer balls. So the top, the bottom, and he used the ball to give a little bit of roundness to the derriere, okay? And he used the soccer balls on top of the shoes. Here's my thing. And y'all, again, I am not a professional. I'm your fashion-less friend. I am not your fashion friend, but this is just my opinion. And y'all can put your opinion in the comments below and the chat after you hit that like, okay? Thank you, April. April is setting us off. What do you think? Yuchen's outfit is an 8 for April. From a scale of 1 to 10, put what do you think of Yuchen's outfit? Now for me, okay, only the headpiece, the headgear, I thought was, ooh, that's a little bit different, but I could tell it's a soccer ball. Back in the day, if the judges could tell what it was not high marks. Back in the day of Project Runway, if they could tell, ooh, that's a soccer ball, it wouldn't get high marks. And I could tell that's a soccer ball. Okay. So put in the chat, April started off 8 for Yuchen, the soccer ball outfit. To Go to Africa says, I don't think the other judges would have agreed with Law. Again, I agree with you. It's a 7. Chicago Girl also thinks it's a 7. Right. In the past, and granted, Law Roach, this is his first time, but he knows what he likes, and he took this over. If they could tell it's a soccer ball, then you would probably be safe, if not on the bottom. Okay? You'd be safe, if not on the bottom. So that's what y'all think of Yuchen. He's 7s and 8. Okay? Now let's move over to VJ. VJ, it is made out of the badminton birds and boning. Remember the boning structure for an outfit? So he put she put the badminton, we call them birds. They have a very cheeky name for it that I'm not sure is YouTube appropriate. So I'm going to call them the badminton birds. She cut off the top and she put it on the structure. So to go to Africa says it's a 9. April B gives it a 10. I just wanted to know what was the undergarment below. The absolutely to go to Africa, I'm not sure I could say that unless I say shuttle cook. Okay, I'm not sure I can say that on YouTube. But we call them birds as well. Some places do call them the badminton birds. But she cut them out and made it look like, lace. And she put it all over what would be the structure of an outfit, which would be the boating. See, April B, you laughing? I can't say it. You all know I can't say it. You could type it. I'm surprised it got through, and it's probably because it's one word. I'm surprised it got through. But yes, so VJ, y'all said 10s and 9. Okay, I was about to say Chicago girl. I didn't see your vote, but you put a 10. So VJ definitely has top marks in this chat. Next up is Madeline. Okay, Madeline used metallic stars. And one thing I would say, she had a hard time finding what she wanted to work with. Madeline did. She had a hard time. She was looking around while everybody's scrambling and just taking everything they can. Madeline was looking around very slowly. She said she doesn't work rushed. She does not work, in this type of, environment. And I'm like, girl, this is Project Runway. Have you not seen anything? Have you not seen anything? Yes, she worked my nerves. Madeline worked my nerves. But April B starts off by giving Madeline with the metallic stars a 10. And I have to agree with Madeline that the workroom lights certainly gave the outfit an extra glow. It was shining. Okay, it was shining. Hey, A Lobo, glad to have you here. Welcome in, welcome in. You gave it a 6 for Madeline. Okay. To go to Africa says 6.5. Chicago girl said 7. Okay, the April B, you're on the outs. You're just a little bit lower for Madeline. I like the fact that she got out of the medieval, dated type of, look that Christian saw, and Christian's like, That's what Christian said. But still keep to who you are. And I think this was pretty cute on, her model, who is, part of the plus size delegation like myself. Okay. Next up is Joseph. Now he worked my nerves this episode. Okay. Joseph's outfit is made out of the banner and electrical cords. Electrical cords at the back. And then he had like pieces. He said his electrical engineering was part of it. He had these pieces, like the pipette, when you would use a pipette in science, he cut them off at the top and have the very large top placed all over. So please put in the chat, what do you think about Joseph's look? From a 1 to 10, 10 being the best. What do you think of Joseph's look? I like that he changed it. It was all one big coat, and he changed it to give her a little shape. He kept his shoulder. Joseph loves a shoulder. He loves a shape. Chicago Girl 5, I'm tired of the shoulder thing. April B said a 9. A Lobo is coming in with the decimal places. 6.1, okay? I feel like it's gymnastics. 5, I like the skirt. Hate the bottom. You like the skirt, but hate the bottom. I mean, you mean hate the top? I'm not understanding that. LNV gives Joseph a 1. Oh, my word. Here's the thing, Joseph. I could tell it was the banner. Oh, you didn't like the top. Okay. You like the skirt, didn't like the top. I think the top took away from the model's shape. I agree with you. If this was the futuristic style and this was in metallic silver or something, maybe, but not for Unconventional Challenge. I could tell this was a banner. And did he color it any differently, or he just took it as it was and cut it up? He just took it as it was and cut it up. I work with pipettes, very small. Yes, they are very, very small. Wait till you hear what Laura Roach had to say about them pipettes. So next up, I'm glad y'all are engaging and in there, telling me what you think. Balania. Next up is Balania. Balania used cellophane wrap. She says the bucket hats are her thing. You all remember when we didn't meet the designers, we saw bucket hats were her thing. Yeah, Chicago girl. Balania disappointed me. Back in the day, Project Runway, if you won the week before, you were safe from elimination. I have not heard that. But it was giving me the hip hop look that Balania is known for, and I wasn't feeling it though. But April B is feeling it. April B says Balania's look is a 10. The shorts, the little jacket, the bucket hat. I thought the shorts were a little ill-fitted, okay? When you saw the model from the back, when you saw her from the back walking away, I thought it was a little too loose, but then not everybody wants a tight pant on their derriere, okay? Chicago girl gave Balania a 5. Ooh, wait a minute, Balania. You are just not racking it in this week. The bucket hat would have been cute. The cellophane is cute. The color palette is cute for it, but I really didn't like this look from Balania at all. I wanted to like it, I really did want to like it, okay? A Lobo says, I thought the colors matched the 90s hip hop vision. It was cute, 7.1. Okay, we're with the 0.1s. We're going to have a time where you tell us, A Lobo, why the 0.1s? Just a little bit over 7, but not quite 8. So, Balania's look, yes, did give 90s hip hop. She said that is her aesthetic. If you go look at her IG and so forth. And of course, when I suggest everybody go look at people's IG, it is only for positive vibes. Do not go out there, showing them anything other than positive encouragement. So Balania, when you look at her, past, this is her aesthetic. Even though she won last week, doing something a little bit different, she, did this to stay with who she was. It's no longer team challenge, it's individual. So that was the beginning of the show. Let's get to the other members, okay? Let's get to the other part of the show. So the show continued in this order. Jesus was next. He used volleyballs and zip ties. The little fringe on her jacket was zip ties, and the crisscross of the dress, those were volleyballs that he cut out each layer and then he sewed back together to form this dress. I like the fact that you cannot tell it is a volleyball that was this dress. That's what I like about Jesus. That's what I like with any unconventional challenge. You can't tell what the item is. So April B gives Jesus a 10. Gives him a 10. I like the little fringe on that jacket. That had a little bit of bounce to it. And the model, she knew how to work it. She definitely knew how to work it. And that dress fit her so well on that runway. So April B gave Jesus a 10. I thought it was clever leather looking. Okay. 9.5 from A Lobo. Yes. It does look like leather, and it does have like fringe with some structure because the zip ties kind of kept its shape and didn't kind of droop. Chicago girl says a 9. Okay, Jesus is up there. Jesus is up there. Yeah, you cannot tell those are that's volleyball weaving. So well done, so well made. Unconventional, because he had to tell VJ, get away from those volleyballs. Those are mine. So that's all the votes, y'all, because I'll be going over to Joan. Okay, Joan had a beautiful model. Joan used popsicle sticks and cardboard, congregated cardboard. The ones that kind of wavy. So she used the popsicle sticks for the top, and she used the cardboard and kind of spray painted or painted them to look like snake skin. It didn't look like snake skin to me. Okay. Joan did not look like snake skin to me. But Joan's look, the popsicles and everything, it definitely is different. So please put your votes in there for Joan and her unconventional challenge, which used popsicle sticks and the cardboard. 7.1, I liked Joan. Oh, 7, I like Joan. See, I'm so used to A Lobo giving me the 0.1. I thought you were a 0.1. A Lobo, same go-to unconventional challenge style, a 4. Good thought. Chicago Girl is a 7. April B says a 9. April B giving out these top tier marks today. April B giving out the top marks today. So I was not a fan. It did look like cardboard. Okay. Even though she painted it to look like snakeskin, it still looked like congregated cardboard to me with Joan. Next up is Ethan. Ethan used plastic butterflies, straws, and zip ties. I wonder if he took zip ties on his own or did he scoot a little from Jesus? But anyway, the top in her here, he made like a headpiece with the zip ties that stood out. So, but I could tell it's butterflies. So maybe, he gets a pass with that. And the straws were what's sticking out. It's a beautiful dress. It looked absolutely beautiful. So please put in the chat your votes for Ethan. Ethan gets a 10. I'm not surprised, April B. Ethan gets a 10. 10 from April B. So Ethan's dress was, if y'all see the movement, it really looked really, really nice. A Lobo says, I didn't like the asymmetrical bottom, but still fierce. 9.9. Okay. Sorry, I heard the fierce like that in my head. To Go to Africa gives it a 7.5. Law must be in love with him. Easy, fond of it. Okay. Yeah, 7.5 for Ethan. Hey, he was saved from last week. He knew he had to come out and pull out all the stops in order to, not be on the bottom for the judges again. But this time it's one judge. He got to impress Law. 9. Did he copy Jesus with the hat spikes? That's what I'm saying. That's the zip ties as well. Zip ties and straws. So did he take the zip ties? I didn't see that he took it, but we don't see everything that everybody took. Okay. So he did have the zip ties. He put it in the hair and some straw. I think it was straws as well that made up the hair piece. Okay. But did he copy him? I don't know. That's why Chen. Oh no, VJ said, I don't want to give people my ideas. Come up with your stuff on your own. When she was in the group challenges. So last up, okay, is, and I'm going to take y'all chat down for a moment. Last up is Antonio. This is Antonio's outfit, and he used flags. Those pink items are flags he sewed together and he stuffed them. Flags and vinyl bubbles. Flags and vinyl bubbles. Now, the bubble dress barely covered her nevuaries. And the flags look like flags. I'm sorry. The flags look like flags. He even made a thong out of the flags and told Miss Joan that was for her. Miss Joan's like, not me. Chicago Girl gives Antonio a 4. Antonio is getting a 4 from Chicago Girl. Anybody else would like to score Antonio from 1 to 10, with 10 being the top? To Go to Africa said 7. I only liked the dress. A Lobo says, I love this. So original. Craftsmanship was on point. 11.7. Okay, A Lobo, you going beyond the 10 to give this to Antonio. Okay. I can still tell his flags. I understand what he was going for. I would have preferred if it was like a gown and it looked like the undergarment of the gown that gives, oh gosh, I forgot, that gives it the bell look. I preferred if that was the actual skirt to make it like a big bell skirt. But hey, that he is the professional designer. I am not. April B gives it a 3. Ooh. How the tables have turned. April B usually giving the high scores, and A Lobo giving the low ones. Now the tables have turned. So I'm going to turn y'all comments back on the screen. So Law Roach was told he needs to pick. He didn't know who was who. Okay. He didn't know who designed what. And he picked his top looks based on what it looked like. And this is the order in which he picked his top looks. His top look at first was Chen. Then his next top look was Ethan's. And the next top look was VJ. Now, if you agree with Law Roach's assessment, please put an A in the chat for agree. If you agree that these were the top looks in that order, or just the top looks, please put an A in the chat. Say, hey, I agree with Law Roach. These were the 3 top looks of this week. I have to say, I don't think any lies were told. Oh, D, disagree. To go to Africa says disagree. Okay, Law. A, agree for April B. Law, you have your first disagree. What we going to do, Law? What we going to do to bring To Go to Africa back in the fold? So yes, A, if you agree, and A, Lobos, disagree. And I understand because you preferred Antonio's look. So this is y'all, if you've been following here on this channel, Project Runway, okay? Oh, D, and in that order, y'all, usually the chat agrees with the judges. This time we're doing one judge, and it is the image architect, Law Roach, and my chat. Only one person agrees with Law. Okay. This is very interesting. This is very interesting to me. Okay. So let's go on to his bottom looks. His bottom looks. The bottom looks for this week, according to the image architect, Law Roach, the bottom looks were these. And this is the order in which he said them. Antonio, Joseph, and Joan. Chicago Girl says she agrees. I'm pretty sure A Lobo gonna disagree because his favorite is in here. April B said the bottom looks agrees. Okay, we agree with the bottom looks. We don't agree with the top looks because I think Jesus's outfit was a top look, but hey, I like Law, but he turned his scores into a styling challenge. Boo. Okay. Question mark. Okay, question mark. So yes, Antonio, Joseph, and Joan were the bottom looks of this week. Now, I kind of think Joan, because it was kind of sparse. Here's my thing with Joseph. Y'all, Joseph signed his name at the back of his outfit. Now, why I don't like this is supposed to be a blind judging. This is supposed to be blind judging. So putting your name on the back of a garment is telling the judges exactly who designed it. And on that GP, I would say, even though I love Joseph, and I ain't calling you Joseph McCray, okay? I love Joseph's designs. I love it all over IG. Absolutely love it. That right there, I think, is against the rules. I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. Joseph, you shouldn't have done that. Antonio should not have been in the bottom. I hear that. I hear that. So if he wasn't in the bottom, like who would have been in the bottom? I mean, really, would you have put Belania? The only other person is Belania or Madeline. Or Madeline or Belania would have been at the bottom. That's the only two not represented here. That's the only two not represented here is Belania or Madeline. Both. Both. Oh, A Lobo said he would have put Madeline with her silver stars on the bottom. Let's remind ourselves what Madeline looked like. Madeline's is in the middle. Okay, Madeline or Belania. You agree with the rule? Yes, I think Joseph signing his name is against the rules. It's supposed to be a blind judging. Hey, Just Rhonda, glad you're here. Joan should not be there. I didn't like Joan's outfit, though. I really didn't like it at all, but I like her. Y'all, if y'all like your housewives, even, this Project Runway as well, Just Rhonda covers all of that, including King's Court on her channel as well. Thank you for being here and supporting Just Rhonda. I haven't been impressed with Joseph. Oh, it's the pillow cushion jacket. Is it the pillow cushion jacket? I think he looks so great, online. Maybe he has more time. So let me go back to these are the bottom looks for this week, according to our Judge Law Roach. Okay. Well, he had named let me go back to the top looks. The top looks, he had named Yu Chen the winner. He named Yu Chen the winner. He said, Law said this is a look that would go with Lady Gaga. And this was a huge compliment because Yu Chen told us in his backstory that Lady Gaga, when she came out, it totally saved him. And he, really, really looks up and he idolizes, Lady Gaga and her style and her aesthetic. And that's where he wants to be as a designer. So this was a huge compliment. Okay. Here comes Reefs and Muffs Mom. I don't like the Yu Chen look. I don't like it, Reefs and Muffs Mom. I don't like it because we can tell what unconventional item it is. That's why I don't like it. In the past, if the judges can tell what it is, they did not give it high scores at all. So again, I don't think it would have been unanimous had, Heidi and Nina Garcia, if anyone else had been there and can tell it's soccer balls. I don't know. That's just my guess. Now, he, again, as I said, out of these three, his favorite look was Yu Chen's. To me, they were all bad. This was the worst unconventional challenge I have seen any season. Yes, it is just Rhonda. It is a bad one. The soccer look is a ballsy thing, a big no. I see what you did there. VJ was my favorite. It looked like a fairy tale. Right, it did look like lace. I would have given VJ the win because it doesn't look like the butterflies or the soccer ball. That's an unconventional challenge. They were all kind of safe. She's possibly the only person that would wear it, Lady Gaga. Yes, she is. I wear glasses and couldn't tell. April B, you couldn't tell those were soccer balls? That's the only thing I would say with Yu Chen. I would definitely give it to VJ because VJ knew she was part of Project Runway, the Philippines. VJ knew you cannot go there with the outfit looking like the unconventional item. Yes, I would have had VJ win this one because out of the top three, VJ's look like lace. The placement, how she put everything together, definitely did not look like the badminton birds at all. At all. So this is the first week, I guess, we are disagreeing with the judges, and I am amazed because this is the week that Law Roach is the only judge. His voice is the only voice. I'm amazed we did that. So for the bad looks, okay, here's what Law had to say. For the bad looks, he said Joseph had too many things, and the droppers, the tops of the pipette that he has, you can't see it up there, but the droppers at the top of the pipettes, he said, look like crack vials. I was like, oh my gosh, every week Law has me going, whoo, wait a minute. Wait, what did you say? But I can't get that out of my head now. It does look like the vials from back in the day. VJ knew the assignment. Yes. VJ knew the assignment. So yes, that's what he said about Joseph. He said he didn't like that he signed it also on the back of the outfit. And I said, yes, Law. Yes, Law. It was not right that he signed it. Hey, Lobo, y'all are cracking up laughing. That's what he said. That's what he said. And I cannot get it out of my head because it does look like it. I mean, if he'd done the pipettes, if he put wires in it, that's what I thought Joseph was going to do. I thought he was going to be wired up and those little pipettes was going to light up. That's what I thought Joseph was bringing in his electrical engineering. But when it just sitting there, Law Roach is like, them look like crack vials. I'm sorry. I was like, no, you didn't say that. Next up, he said, Jones looks sad. Look like made Jones dress. I can't sew buttons on. He's not good designer. It's difficult for me to not compare him to Bishmi, man designs of previous period. Yes, it is hard for me. Even Anthony from Atlanta, even Michael, it is hard for me to put Joseph, in that category. But he said Jones' look was sad. It looks like deceased vegetation. I was like, no, it don't look like. Remember we talked about it before, where back in the day with the corn that kind of dried up and looked absolutely awful. I was like, ooh. He said, throw the model into the compost. He said, throw the model into the compost. Because remember, the skirt looks like snakeskin, so she has elements of green and black and different colors and a little bit of yellow. And he said it looked like compost. I was like, oh my word, Law, don't hurt him. Yes, Anthony was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Don't hurt him, please, Law. That's what he said about Joan. Now, Antonio's dress, okay? He said he likes the dress, okay? For Antonio's critique, Law Roach said he likes the dress, but the denim bag and the denim boots was not good. He said if you didn't have that, it would have looked good. Now, Antonio was cheeky. You know these twin brothers are real cheeky. He said, I thought I would have been the winner. Excuse me? How do you tell a judge that you thought you were a winner? You thought you were going to win this challenge. I was like, no. And of all judges for you to say this to, it is Law Roach. Why would you do that? Then here comes his brother in the background piping up saying, well, I like it. I think it looks wonderful. And Law Roach did not acknowledge Jesus that we saw. Y'all know it's edited. Not that we saw. Law Roach kept on looking at Antonio and talked to him and said, your brother is making it worse for you. Your brother is making this worse for you. So basically, Law is telling him exactly what he needed to hear. Like, don't let your brother design for you. Remember, y'all, Jesus was out of the competition back in like season 7. I told y'all in Meet the Designer. He been here and failed. Sorry to say. That's what Law Roach could have said. Your brother been here and failed. This is your turn. Don't listen to him. Do your designs your way. Don't let him help design you. Because he was kicked out. I think it was episode 4 or 9 or something in season 7. Don't listen to your brother. So with that, we were given our curveball by Law Roach. These are the bottom designers. These are the bottom designs. And Law Roach gave the curveball. Antonio Jesus are Geminis, which gives them both 4 more personalities. Yes, hey, Lobo. Not the 4 more personalities. Well, that wasn't that the first or second episode. I'm a Gemini. I just don't like being told what to do. Well, Gemini, you're on a competition. You're going to be told whether it look good or not. Okay? You're going to be told here, sirs, Geminis. But I like that, A Lobo. They have 4 more personalities. So, y'all, here's the curveball. And I know some of y'all don't watch the show, but y'all here, and I appreciate it so much, especially when you hit the like button, okay? Law Roach said, the designers who are not on the bottom 3 are the ones who are going to decide who goes home. Wait a minute. The designers who are not on the bottom are going to decide who goes home. Everybody had a shock. Everybody was shocked. I was certainly gagged. I was like, ooh. Now this is what I was looking for season 21. You're bringing in the image architect, Law Roach. You're coming back, Project Runway. I expect with a boom. This was the boom I was thinking about. April B said, you got to be kidding me. No, I am not kidding you. Law Roach said, all y'all fabulous people who's safe and you Chen you won, all y'all going to decide who goes home. Well, y'all know that's what I was propped up and I had to watch this like 3 times. Jesus said before to us in the confessional, he said he cannot allow his brother to be voted off. He cannot allow Antonio to be voted off. Now, remember, we started off the episode with VJ saying the brothers need to be broken up. The brothers need to be broken up. Somebody need to go home. Somebody need to go home. A Lobo said, I would have walked out. No, not at all. But we do have many faces, Chicago girl. Glad for showing your face. Okay. So VJ had a lot to say, but VJ was strategic. Oh, I love VJ. VJ didn't go straight for Antonio. because she knew Jesus was going to be like, ain't nobody coming for my brother. Ain't nobody coming for my brother. Not my twin. Not my Gemini twin. And VJ said, based, very vocal. VJ is very vocal. We saw the most out of VJ, and it could be editing, okay? He said, Joseph's look was just bad. Joseph's look was just bad. He did not transform his material, and it was just bad. But Joan transformed hers because remember, she was popsicle sticks. At least, VJ is like, she painted it. She changed the structure. Unless you got close, you didn't know it was popsicle sticks and cardboard. Joan at least put in a lot of effort into her outfit and trying to make it look different. Lord, this plays too much. So they, Law Roach, before they went, they said, somebody might use this to really, get rid of their competition as well. And I wondered that about VJ. Y'all may not like, Joseph too much, but I do see Joseph as one of VJ's, biggest competitions. And I think Joan too. But hey, he was right. Okay. But the twins need to be split up. The twins need to be split up, in my opinion. But I do like the little ruckus and bickering in the workroom. Can you imagine Jesus if Antonio is voted out? Can you imagine the workroom? Can you imagine it if Antonio is sent home? Jesus is going to wreak havoc. Y'all, Madeline and Belania have a problem voting out someone because everybody's working hard. Okay? Everybody's working hard. Just Rhonda says, get rid of Antonio already. Please. Hey, get rid of the mullet. So Belania was like, hey. Jesus gonna cut up. Jesus will cut up if Antonio is voted out. Hey, let's talk about it all. Glad to have you here. We're talking about the bottom looks. And we were told the designers, the other designers who are not on this bottom three, they have to vote a designer to go home. Now, yes, unfortunately, they're going to vote based on the relationship instead of the best design, right? Because Madeline said she can't, she just can't. She can't vote. Everybody's working hard. She has some, affection for all these people. She does, she doesn't want to say who should go home. VJ is on Joseph's neck. He did not transform his materials. And nobody's mentioning Antonio that we hear. But I'm wondering if he is voted off. Because remember in the previews, for those of you who watch the show, there's a preview which one of the twins is saying, I am going to make it my job for the rest of the competition to make sure you are sent home. Again, I'm wondering if that is the catalyst for one of the twins going home. Unfortunately, they're going to vote based on their relationship instead of best design. Hey, I said late, but catching the replay. Thank you so much, High Vibe. We're just talking about the bottom three designs. The twins might have an advantage. They have an advantage since one of them is in the room. Since one of them is, and he's like, ain't nobody voting my brother out. He may have an advantage. Madeline don't want to vote, but VJ is stepping up and saying, Joseph, I think it's her biggest competition. Joan, only like, they're like, hey, Joan can do great work. Look at the body of work Joan has done. And I'm like, Joan has played it safe. Joan has been on the bottom once. Joseph has played it safe. He's been on the bottom once. Antonio is it Antonio? Yep, he's been on the bottom. But we are at the conventional challenge. And unlike the others, I really think, unfortunately, Joseph and Joan are the lowest ones. Think it'll be Joseph? Yeah, I think it'll be Joseph. Because y'all, they leave us again on a cliffhanger as to who is voted out. But I do think it would be Joseph. Because the banner, it looks like a banner. And when Law Roach said that the tops of the pipettes look like crack vials, I was like, he done. He is done. He is done. Are they working with Mood this season? Yes, they are. The first few challenges, they did go to Mood. They did go to Mood and buy their fabrics. Oh, Sonia, Woodside, Everline. I don't think I've seen you here. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Antonio should go home. He needs to go home. I agree with you, Sanja. I agree with you. A Lobo Joseph should go to the principal's office alone. I don't want this to turn into a Survivor style competition. Right. I don't. Joseph is done, according to Sanja. Joseph is done. I don't want his goose to be cooked. I mean, I like the drama of it all. If Antonio is sent, I don't want Antonio to be sent home, but just for drama purposes, he's sent home, Jesus will run amok. There won't be a single sewing machine working. People fabric will come up missing. I'm just creating drama. I would be like, watch out. I would not want to share a room with Jesus if Antonio is sent home. It would be fire. That Gemini is going to come all the way out, as A Lobo said, with the extra 4 personalities. Glad to have you here, Sanja. Definitely. They shouldn't be choosing to want to go home because the designers can't be objective. You know which designer I didn't hear much from? The winner. And y'all know Yu Chen is spicy. Now, I talked about his looks. I didn't like his looks on IG and his aesthetic, but Yu Chen is spicy. My kind of spicy. I like Yu Chen. I ain't heard much of what Yu Chen said. Who should go home? Funny enough, we did not see a whole bunch of Yu Chen. This was a scheme that Todd came up to bring the drama. Yes, to see where people's loyalty lies, because even if he isn't voted off, anybody saying anything negative about him, you know Jesus going to take it right back to him. You better watch out. VJ had a lot to say about you. Better watch out. Yu Chen said some stuff. Jesus is going to take it. Jesus is going to take that tea back to his brother. Yu Chen is adorable. Yes, Yu Chen is adorable, especially when he come out with that slick mouth. When he comes out saying some slick stuff, Yu Chen's like, why you gonna get my material? Hell no. You ain't getting my material. You ain't getting my extra. What extra lace? Get out of my face. Yu Chen is a delight for me. I absolutely love him. He is adorable, A Lobo. He is adorable, especially when he gets feisty. And now he's kind of happy. But I wonder if Yu Chen and VJ will come together and kind of like, ain't nobody trying to work with the twins. They working together. And I wonder if I hope they don't sew each other's things and help each other that way. We haven't seen that, but I just hope, it's just verbal assistance. Okay. They should send Laura home for coming up with this idea. No, you cannot send the image architect home. You cannot send Law Roach, the image architect, home. This is not his idea. As he said, he gets glammed up to come talk about these designs. So Law Roach is here to do what they tell him. And he is the perfect person to give that, but I wish it would have been the other judges. I wish it would have been the other judges there as well. Like, the designers have to put, like, okay, out of all their looks, I would have done it this way, okay? Project Runway, please just, cite your source if you use my idea. Here's what they could have done. The judges have their lowest item, and the designers vote which design is the lowest score for them. That's what I would have done. And if it matched the designers to the judges, then that person would go home. But I want it to be like Survivor, okay? Let's mix Survivor in here. You can say what you want to say. Let's do what you want to say. And everybody go into the photo booth and hold up there who they voted for to go home. And then on the runway, okay, this is where we get messy. This is where we get Yu Chen messy, because everybody going to think they're in the photo booth. They're holding up their sign as Joseph, Jonah, Antonio going home. And then we reveal it to all the designers. Oh, this is what Ethan voted. Oh, this is the sign that this person voted. Oh, let's show the pictures on the big screen. That's what I would have liked. That would have been good messy. Because if you see people voting Antonio, Jesus would have been like, I see you voted for my brother. I would. That's my kind of messy for this. Have you think you're doing it for the camera, for the photo booth? And it's shown to everyone. Law is a messy queen. Well, as he said, one girly to another. Um, as he said, one girly to another. Let's spicy. Okay, I see you spicy. Yes, yeah, I would love them to do a Survivor thing, and then everybody see it's like, okay, you are on. These are the bottoms. Let's see who's going home. And before we do that, let's count the votes. Let's count the votes, and you put it up on full blast. And the designers get to see who voted for them to be off. Because even if someone doesn't get voted off, you would see who wanted to send you home. So here's the thing. I wonder if they're going to put down the names and they'll know exactly who voted for them. And let's say Antonio has some votes. Okay, let's say Antonio has some votes and then he is put back into the mix. Everybody that voted for Antonio would be on his list and Jesus's list. And that could be the catalyst for that preview that said, hey, I'm going to make it my purpose for the rest of the show to make sure you get sent home. Y'all know that's a clip out there. That is a preview we saw. So I'm hoping, I can't remember because it goes by so quickly, if it's Antonio that says that or if it's Jesus that says that. I'm not sure who says it, but it's one of the twins say it. And they're in a cream jacket. They're in a cream denim jacket, I think. That would be fire if Antonio knows who tried to send him home. Just Rhonda thinks that nobody's going home this week. Just Rhonda, that is a possibility. That is a possibility, just to throw everybody in a tizzy. Like, oh, you got the lowest score, but Law Roach decides nobody's going home, and then Law gets favor. Yet everything in the workroom has changed. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Joseph knowing all the people who voted for him, especially how VJ stepped up and she was like, Joseph did not fulfill the challenge. Can you imagine Joseph? Can you imagine Joseph? I know you mean caddy high five. Antonio Jesus, make me itch. No. I just don't like the fact that they get to work together in the real world and now they're working together. I do think it's an unfair advantage. I do think so. But can you imagine all this talk? VJ saying all this stuff about Joseph. Joseph didn't fulfill the challenge. Joseph this, Joseph that. And then Joseph knows about it. And then Joseph is now looking at VJ sideways. Say, I see you, girl. I mean, that is it. Or, the fact that, somebody wanted to send Joan home. Joan is a lovely lady, but we don't know how Joan would behave if she knew all the people who would send her home. That would turn the workroom into a type of a mausoleum, don't you think? Ain't nobody gonna be talking to each other. It's gonna be a whole lot of whispers in the corner because I don't trust you because you try to, turn things against me, or you try to vote me out. A Lobo said that's what happened in RuPaul's Drag Race. Ooh, child, where they voted and then, everybody gets to stay. And now you got to work around the people who wanted to kick you out. Wait a minute. That's messy. So we have more, things coming over from RuPaul's Drag Race over here. Do we like it? Do we not like it? I like the curveball of it, but I don't know how the workroom is going to work. It's going to be messy. It's going to be messy. And again, I ain't heard what Yu Chen had to say. Right to go to Africa. I don't want Joan to go home at all. I don't want Joan to go home. And if Joseph gets to stay, I need to see something other than shoulders. I need to see something other than a huge coat with the shoulders and the neck. Joseph, I need to. I need you to do something else. That is your aesthetic. But again, I agree with Just Rhonda. Maybe no one goes home because it's only one judge. I don't know, but it would be fascinating if everybody stayed and everybody got to hear who wanted them gone. because VJ wants Joseph gone. Somebody talked about Joan, Madeline wanted to hype up Joan, and they say, well, don't look at just this. Look at the entirety of what they have produced. And it's like all three of them been on the bottom. So I don't know what you're talking about, unless you're talking about Antonio was on the top last week, unless, Joseph was never on the top, neither was Joan. So I'm not sure. This is the second time Joan is on the bottom. Second time Joseph's on the bottom, because he was on the bottom, wasn't he, for the Coach jacket? Again, the entirety, it's going to be subjective. What do you like? What don't you like coming from these designers? But for me, hey, the flags, at least he had to sew it together and he stuffed them. But Joseph's top and skirt looks like the banner. It doesn't look like he colored it, painted it. If he had made it to try and make it look like a textile, maybe. But it just looked like we sewed the banner together and put some shape to it. It's sad if Joan goes. I really looking forward to her couture looks. I am to A Lobo. I am looking forward to these three designers. I really do hope Just Rhonda is correct in that they stay. I'm looking forward to the three of them in avant-garde, because I think they can put out some great showstoppers. These three in avant-garde is what I'm looking forward to. So I don't want any of them to go. I don't want Joseph to go home. If he does, maybe he can design for Missy Elliott or the Jetsons. Jetsons are fictional. But Missy Elliott, Joseph, definitely. Oh, one of those big, large, oversized coats and jackets. And he likes the sleeves. Joseph like those big, puffy sleeves and everything. Not Missy or the Jetsons. But I would love to see these three in avant-garde. I just, Unconventional Challenge and avant-garde are my personal favorite for Project Runway. Everything else is like, okay. But those two, I really, really look forward to. Definitely avant-garde. But y'all, as I said, they leave us with a cliffhanger. These are the three designers on the bottom. And the other designers have to vote who goes home. Jesus is like, nope, nobody voting for my brother. And he's sitting at the edge of the couch, ready to pounce on anybody who says Antonio's name. Did y'all see that? If you watch the show, he's sitting at the edge of the couch, ready to jump. VJ says Joseph needs to go home because he did not fulfill, what's going on with the challenge. And Madeline said Joan needs to stay. When Joan's name is mentioned, she needs to stay because she did, make changes to her outfit and totality of her talent. But Madeline is crying and definitely doesn't want to vote anyone out. And as Belania said, she does not want to be the reason that somebody's dreams come to an end. And I'm sorry, I don't think your dreams come to an end on Project Runway. I think it certainly amplifies and let people see who you are and that you are a designer out here. But I don't think your dreams end on Project Runway. It just takes a detour. Okay? It just takes the longer route. That's all it does if you do not win Project Runway. You'll get there. You will definitely be exposed to, huge clients. But that doesn't mean, your dreams end at Project Runway. I didn't like that, the way she said that. But y'all, as I said, this is a cliffhanger. We will find out next week. Again, we will be doing this recap and review next week at the same time, 5 o'clock on Saturday, Eastern Standard Time. And in the meantime, I cover Match Me Abroad on Tuesdays, King's Court on Wednesdays, and Fridays I do LSIT Unscripted, where the chat, you get to talk. We have A Lobo is new here and Sanja is new here. On Fridays at 5:05, we talk about any and everything the chat wants to talk about, throw in music, throw in games. And I also cover Unscripted. I don't know if I'll do one tomorrow because it's going to be a busy week, but we definitely do Unscripted, Unsolicited Advice, where we pick information where people are asking the internet for unsolicited advice, and we give ours. So it comes from Reddit, it comes from Instagram, and we give serious advice, and sometimes it's just for a good chuckle sometimes, because we can't believe someone came to the internet to ask for advice from strangers. So y'all, thank you so much for being here. As y'all say, have a great weekend. Thank you, A Lobo. Thank you, Sanja, for joining in the chat and hanging out with us. And thank you. Yes, everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you on the next one.